Srimati Sita Thakurani is to be worshipped just as much as Sasadevi herself, as the mother of the universe. She is the eternal wife of Sri Advaita Acharya. She was the daughter of Sri Indrasingha Badari. She was married to Sri Advaita Acharya in Fulia Nagara. After their wedding, Advaita Acharya went to Nadia, to live in Shantapura. Sita Thakurani was always absorbed in Vatsalya Prema for Sri Gaurasundara Prabhu, and, out of parental concern, used to instruct Jagannatha Mishra on how to care for the boy. Sri Krishna Dasa Kaviraja Goswami has described the birth celebration at the house of Jagannatha Mishra upon the advent of the Lord, giving special attention to the position of Sri Sita Thakurani, Advaita Acharya's wife. Worshipable by all the three worlds was Sita Thakurani. Taking the Acharya's orders on her head, she had come to take a look at this new child, this jewel of jewels, and to offer him presents. On the eve of his son's advent, Sri Jagannatha Mishra, seeing the imminent signs of his child's arrival, sent word to Advaita Acharya in Shantapura that the long-awaited child was being born. Hearing news of the advent of this unprecedented child, Advaita Acharya floated in the waves of ecstasy. With Sri Haridasa Thakura, he went to bathe in the river, and, after much dancing and song, he sent his wife to go quickly to Mayapura in Navadvipa. According to Gaura Ganadesha Dipika, Sri Sita Thakurani is Yogamaya. The Gaura Parshada Charitvali says that in Krishna Lila, she was Purnamasi, the mother of Sandipani Muni, grandmother of Madhumangal and Nandimukhi, and a disciple of Narada Muni. Gaura Ganadesha Dipika, however, says that Parmamasi in Krishna Lila became Sri Govinda Acharya. In Chaitanya Lila, in Dvapara Yuga, during the celebration of Krishna's birth ceremony, she was present in the house of Nanda, and at that time gave Nanda and Yashoda many instructions on how to care for the child. The Caitanya Charitamrita gives the following account of Sita Thakurani's visit to the house of Jagannatha Mishra after the birth of the Lord, and quote, one day, shortly after Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Advaita Acharya's wife, Sitadevi, who is worshipable by the whole world, taking permission of her husband, went to see that topmost child with all kinds of gifts and presents. She brought different kinds of golden ornaments, including bangles for the hand, armlets, necklaces, and anklets. There were also tiger nails set in gold, waist decorations of silk and lace, ornaments for the hands and legs, nicely printed silken saris, and a child's garment, also made of silk. Many other riches, including gold and silver coins, were also presented for the child. Riding in a palanquin covered with cloth and accompanied by maid servants, Sita Thakurani came to the house of Jagannatha Mishra, bringing with her many auspicious articles such as fresh grass, paddy, Gorakana, turmeric, kunkuma, and sandalwood. All these presentations filled a big basket. When Sita Thakurani came to the house of Sasadevi, bringing with her many kinds of eatables, dresses, and other gifts, she was astonished to see the newly born child, for she appreciated that, except for a difference in color, the child was directly Krishna of Gokula himself. Seeing the transcendental bodily effulgence of the child, each of his nicely constructed limbs full of auspicious signs and resembling a form of gold, Sita Thakurani was very much pleased, and because of her maternal affection, she felt as if her heart were melting. She blessed the newly born child by placing fresh grass and paddy on his head and saying, and quote, may you be blessed with a long duration of life. And quote. But being afraid of ghosts and witches, she gave the child the name Nimai. On the day that the mother and son took bath and left the maternity room, Sita Thakurani gave them all kinds of ornaments and garments, and then also honored Jagannatha Mishra. Then Sita Thakurani, being honored by Mother Sasadevi and Jagannatha Mishra, was greatly happy within her mind, and thus she returned home. And quote, from that day on, Sita Thakurani would often come to Mayapura from Shantapura, in order to teach Sasamata how to care for the new baby. She would give her many different instructions on how to raise children. And after helping with the child in this way, she would return to Shantapura. When it came time for the child's birthday ceremony, Jagannatha Mishra and Sasadevi let the worshipable Sita Thakurani be the first to offer the child his new clothes. Advaita Acharya Prabhu also had a house in Navadvipa. There he would live from time to time and discuss Krishna Katha with the devotees headed by Shrivasa, diving and surfacing in the waves of joy until the break of dawn. After Sri Gaurasundara's appearance, all the devotees prayed, together with Sri Advaita Acharya and Sita Thakurani, that the child might live long in Mayapura and have good fortune. Sita Thakurani and Sasadevi were of one mind. The baby Nimai was their life and soul. Every day Sita Thakurani would go to the house of Sasadevi and help her with the care and nurturing of the boy. In the house of Jagannatha Mishra, the divine child increased the pleasure of the eyes and minds of all the devotees, just as the waxing moon gradually grows more brilliant with each passing day. After several years, when Jagannatha Mishra's son Vishvarupa, Nimai's older brother, had grown up, he suddenly took sannyasa. The grief and agony of Jagannatha Mishra and Sasadevi upon their son's leaving was great. Gaurasundara was also dismayed and unhappy at his brother's separation. At that time Advaita Acharya and Sita Thakurani consoled Jagannatha Mishra and Sita Thakurani, and helped take care of Nimai. Shrivasa Pandit's wife Malini Devi also was always very affectionate towards the child, nurturing him and caring for him. She and Sasadevi were of one mind in doing this. After exhibiting his childhood pastimes, Nimai gradually progressed into his Kishora Lila, or pastimes of youth. After some time, he went to Gaya and revealed his true form and real purpose. Having returned from Gaya, he gathered all the devotees at the house of Shrivasa Angan for the purpose of beginning Kirtan. At that time, Advaita Acharya brought Sita Thakurani from Shantapura to Mayapura, and, having arrived there, was the first to worship the lotus feet of Sri Caitanya. Gradually Sri Gaurasundara began, in Navadvipa, to unfold his Kirtan pastimes, wishing to deliver the fallen souls. As time went by he took sannyasa and turned his face towards Vrindavana, and ran off, half mad, into the jungle in search for Sri Krishna. Upon hearing this, Sri Sita Thakurani spent 4 days with Sasadevi, who, plunged in the darkness of separation, as if the sun had left the sky forever, lay fallen on the ground like one near death. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, being bound by the ropes of love, was unable to go to Vrindavana, but was drawn to return to Shantapura. When he arrived in Shantapura, Advaita Acharya and Sita Thakurani felt as if their life has returned. After having fasted for 4 days, Sri Gaurasundara accepted prasada cooked by the hand of Sita Thakurani. Previous to taking sannyasa also, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu along with Nityananda Prabhu would, from time to time, go to the house of Advaita in Shantapura, where they would have a festival and perform Krishna Nama Lila Kirtan all day and all night. The beautiful nature of this subject has been described by Sri Parameshvari Dasa Thakura in his Sri Pada Kalpataru as follows. One day the Lord laughed, having arrived in the temple of Sri Advaita, and thus the son of Sachi took his seat, along with Nityananda, Advaita sat down, and the two of them began playfully assessing the idea of having a festival. Hearing all this, Sita, Thakurani entered smiling. At that time, in sweet words which made the minds of those who heard them blissful, the son of Sachi ruled that there must be a great festival. He said, and quote, "Listen, Sita Thakurani. We shall extend invitations to all the different Vaishnavas who live nearby. Let whoever hears the sound of our song, resounding through the air, come and join us. We shall invite one and all." And quote. Saying this, Sri Gaurachandra gave orders to the devotees saying, and quote, "You invite the Vaishnavas, and quote, you ready the Maridanga and Karatalas, and quote, you prepare sandalwood and a guru for distribution, and quote, have everything ready at the ghat, and quote, carrying out these assignments expertly, and after garlanding the devotees with flower garlands, the devotees shall gather together in a circle for an uproarious kirtan." And quote. Hearing the words of Mahaprabhu, the devotees followed his orders with great affection, collecting garlands, sandalwood, betel, ghee, honey, and milk, and everything else essential for worshipping the Lord. The different gifts and fragrant articles for the devotees in the Lord were then distributed in the proper ways. The kirtan began at midday. At that time, everyone chanted and quote, "Hari, Hari," and quote, and the Maridanga made the whole kirtan auspicious. Thus swims Parameshvara Dasa in the rasic pastimes of the Lord. After Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyasa and went to live in Jagannatha Puri, Sri Advaita Acharya and Sita Thakurani used to go and visit him each year, bringing their son Achyutananda with them. On one such occasion, Sita Thakurani prepared some of the Lord's favorite preparations for him and invited him to their home to take lunch. Simply to increase their ecstasy, the Lord, who was always absorbed in Krishna Nama, honored their invitation and took lunch in the home of Advaita and Sita. Sita Thakurani, being always overwhelmed with Vatsalya Prema, treated him as affectionately as if he were her own son. The Lord himself also treated her with the same kind of regard and affection that he had for Sasadevi herself. Sri Sita Thakurani bore 3 sons, Achyutananda, Krishna Mishra and Gopala Mishra, who were followers of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. According to Bhakti Ratnakara, Sri Sita Thakurani's father was Sri Indrasimha Baduri. Sita Thakurani also had a sister, Sri. According to the Gaura Ganadesha Dipika, Sita Thakurani, the wife of Sri Advaita Acharya, is Yogamaya, and her sister Shri is the Prakasha or manifestation of Yogamaya. Yogamaya Bhagavati, Grahini Tesa, Sampratam, Sita Rupanavatirna, and quote, Shri and quote, Namni Tat Prakashata.